Hello everyone, this is Luke Yeager from Sleep Terror. I am making this video in regards to a post I made not too long ago inquiring about song titles that you guys wanted to know more about as far as what they mean and why I came up with them. I have a list of pretty much all of them that I read from the comments. If there are any that you want to know about, please leave a comment in this video and I will try to respond. These are kind of in no particular order. We'll start with the Maxophobia. That's an early demo track, and it basically has a lot to do with my fear of riding in cars with people, especially aggressive driver friends and things like that, and going fast speeds. And basically my fear of just being in cars or near cars with dangerous drivers. Tables Turn Crimson, kind of a silly title. Basically, it's a song about revenge, turning the tables on someone who's done you wrong. Crimson referring to blood. Somnambulistic Pedophile. A lot of people mispronounce that title. It's somnambulistic, which has to do with sleepwalking. And the song has kind of an ambiguous meaning to it because it really just kind of looks at the whole psyche of people who are evil, pedophiles, murderers, rapists, and how they can go about life pretending like they don't remember or they even know what they're doing when they do these things, in reference to the sleepwalking part. So the time I wrote that song, I remember there was a guitar player in a pretty well-known death metal band who I won't name, who had gone to jail for molesting kids, and I just thought it was just so weird how these people could do things like this and act like it's just nothing, and not really even stop themselves and then even pretend they don't remember it or even know what they're doing. So up next we got Hypersomnia Rationale. Is basically about reflecting on your dreams that you remember after you wake up and trying to rationalize them, or basically trying to make sense of them and how important or unimportant they may be. Hypnagogic Qualm is actually about going from the state of wakefulness to falling asleep and then having kind of a jolting thought or emotion come up that makes you snap and wake up. Abreaction is basically reimagining yourself in a situation you were in to cope with it, and the voices and the people and the smells and the moods and everything that was going on to kind of cope with a past experience or a present one, to say the least. Lackluster is actually basically about my struggle in life of being depressed because of everything around me that's boring, boring people, boring conversations, a boring environment, boring music, boring movies. It's really just kind of a song that I wrote to cope with my emotions of dealing with things that I don't find very spicy, which is, a lot of things. Screams of Tenerife is basically about the tragic 1977 plane crash, which involved two planes and killed over 500 people in a very violent manner. And, it's kind of weird because in this song there's some parts that are funky and happy, and I think the music in Sleep Terror has always kind of reflected the titles in a way that I feel like, for example, in that song, those happy parts could be when a lot of those people on those planes were thinking about what a great trip they're going to have and talking and enjoying each other's company and having a drink, and then the heavy parts and the dark parts reflect when the chaos ensued. Eternal Winter is basically a tongue-in-cheek mockery of the Northwest and Seattle in general. I think I wrote that around late spring of 2013. I just remember it was just still raining, still gray, still cold, and it was basically like my FU to living in cities like this sometimes. Up next, Idiopathic Psychogenesis. Again, this is kind of more of a song that just tries to delve into just the insanity of people who do terrible things and how we try to make sense of it, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. and never will. Uh, Prodromal Nocturia is just basically about, you know, nighttime. It's kind of a strange title, but nighttime urination and really the roots of that, what's causing it, and why someone does it, if it's sexually related or if it's like a, bad habits that are causing things like that. So it's kind of a silly but complex title regarding that. Um, Someone asked about Anabolic Salvation, and that song is really kind of a spiritual homage to exercise, particularly weight training, and what it's done for me to overcome my stress and my struggles in life, emotionally, psychologically, and just the endorphin rush of that, and feeling better and stronger in life. Probing tranquility is basically what it is. It's just, the struggle to find peace and balance in life through your own accomplishments, through your relationships with people, and making sense of the good and bad in life and what we have to deal with. Dipsomaniacal chronotherapy is basically a song about alcoholism and people who are addicted to alcohol, and they go so far as to change their patterns throughout their day to cope and to try to lessen their consumption. And sometimes it doesn't always work. It wasn't really a song I wrote in regards to my own struggle, but there was a time where I started to relate to it more. Felt like I was teetering on the edge of becoming that kind of, unfortunate joke. But it was just something that I thought was a kind of a cool song title phonetically, and it kind of related to thoughts I was having about people who deal with that, and just kind of my sympathy towards that kind of lack of hope. Up next, someone asked about bruxist, and that is basically a song about someone who's a stress case and constantly grinding their teeth, which I relate to quite a bit, especially during sleeping and things like that. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Someone asked me about the song Leaving the Matador, which is on my acoustic Spanish record, Chasing the Pipe Dream. Somebody also responded to that and mentioned the restaurant. Yes, it is about the restaurant. I used to go to one of them here in Seattle, and I had a really bad crutch on a waitress, and needless to say, there were a lot of times where I was trying to make a move and say hello, get to know her, and it was like every time I left there, I was frustrated because it wasn't going anywhere, and I felt a lot of emptiness and loneliness. And it wasn't even really so much about her; it was just about life in general, because there was nothing else that was interesting to me, and there were no other girls at the time that I liked, and I was kind of consumed with this person, and it was like a really strange place I was in my late 20s. I was just unhappy with, my job. I was unhappy with the way music was going at the time. And, there's a lot of things, and it was just kind of like the collective despair I felt, especially leaving that place. There was just things that kind of collectively accumulate like that, and just make you feel empty, so that's kind of what that song is about. If there are any more, please let me know. I'll try to comment. Hope you guys all enjoyed this. Cheers.